ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a Japanese animated movie from 1983. That movie is Harmageddon. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, the only reason why I have a copy of this is because I was searching for just, like, random shit on eBay, and I found this thing sitting there for $2. I thought, what the hell? And the plot of it, which I read shortly after I bought it, essentially is about a psychic who has a vision about aliens coming to Earth. So she gathers her band of psychic friends and they all team up to fight aliens because apparently, you know, military and, you know, like soldiers and tanks and jets and bombs, none of that is going to stop aliens. No, we need a bunch of psychics. Sure. Now, the back of this thing also spends a great deal attempting to play up how awesome this is by mentioning all of the other things that have been worked on by the people who worked on this. I should mention again that this thing came out in 1983, and everything listed afterwards is shit that they made afterwards. And yes, guys, while I am a fan of things such as let's see here, Akira and Perfect Blue, it doesn't really mean that this thing is going to be any fucking good. I have no idea. The only way I'm going to find out if this damn thing is any good at all, and the only way I'm going to find out if I wasted $2 getting this, is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Harmageddon. Oh my god. This really is, guys, one of the most lifeless dubs I think I have ever heard. This is really fucking bad. Good lord. Okay, I totally understand, guys, that like back then, early 80s, we didn't fucking care if our dubs were any good, but this guy's is bad even by the standards of early 80s dubs. This is terrible. Alright, guys, I would really like to know exactly why Vega, our fucking, kill bot that has been programmed to protect humanity and stop the evils of Genma, is taking the time out of his busy schedule to hunt down this one random irritating human. We have not been given any context to this. I would kind of like some. However, that might then help this movie start to make sense, and I don't think it wants to do that right now. So in the darkest pits of his own psyche, Joe is nude. Why in the hell do we need to see his underage schlong as he is running? That is really fucking disgusting. Seriously, guys, I cannot fucking make any sense out of anything which is going on here because I thought this was supposed to be a film about psychics fighting aliens. We haven't even gotten close to that. Instead, we've gotten one guy who learns that he is a, psionic fucking warrior and doesn't know how to control his powers. That really is the closest thing we've gotten to a plot so far in this movie, and the whole thing is ultimately kind of fucking stupid. Okay, so we randomly jump from Tokyo to New York, and we get to see still shots of New York as it's getting wiped out by tidal waves and is being assaulted with purple fucking lightning. I really don't see the point in jumping to New York. There had better be a reason besides just, oh my god, look at all of this devastation. Because you could have stayed in fucking, Japan and done the very same thing. I'm really hoping, guys, that there was a point to this. Okay, I didn't know that the New York fucking police were prone to, do fucking drive-bys. I also didn't know that there were street gangs in New fucking York that were taking orders from fucking, 10-year-olds. What the fuck is going on here, guys? I'm genuinely attempting to make fucking sense of everything going on right now, and this movie is making it really fucking difficult. Guys, this whole scene is supposed to be tense and all this other shit, but I am not feeling anything. It would probably be better if the acting was good, or if the writing was halfway decent. But frankly, I do not care if Joe's sister is killed or raped or whatever the fuck they're hinting at here. They're actually kind of hinting at a little bit of both, which makes it equally creepy. But really, I don't give a shit what happens to her. I really, genuinely don't. Why the hell isn't this fucking movie finished yet? I swear, guys, I have been struggling to care about anything which happens in this movie. But there is nothing going on here that is going to make me care. Nothing at all. This movie is that fucking boring. And we have now been introduced to a ton of extra characters. I barely even know, actually, I don't even know the names of half of them, because they haven't bothered to give us any kind of, like background or name or anything for most of these characters. Honest to God, guys, this thing, by all rights, could have and probably should have been a lot better. But no, this thing's a massive motherfucking letdown, and I cannot wait for it to end. Well, guys, that was Harmageddon. Jesus, shut up. God, that closing song sucked. Anyway, let's talk about the movie, shall we? Before I talk about the movie itself, I really do have to make one point really, really clear. I mentioned at the start I spent $2 on this. Yeah, I pissed away two fucking dollars. Good news is, at least now I get to fucking tear into it, and I'm gonna feel at least a little bit better having wasted $2 fucking dollars on it. Now, let's start with writing. I do know that Harmageddon is based on a Japanese comic book that was published over the span of 14 years. And as far as I can tell, this thing is trying to tell that entire 14-year story in just over 2 hours. I want you guys to just imagine taking any comic book story arc, any story arc that ran even close to 2 years, and try to jam it into a 2-hour film. I want you to try to imagine something like Watchmen, which took a year to publish, and try to cram it into 2 hours. It took that movie 3 hours, and they still had to cut, shit. Mind you now, though, Watchmen wound up just sort of cutting all of the pointless shit, but still, it took them 3 hours to tell 1 year's worth of comic book. I want you now to try to imagine 14 years shoehorned into a 2-hour film. It doesn't sound good. Now, I can tell what they did, because you can see that they chopped off mountains and mountains of character build-up, introduction, and depth. Because you see, guys, the first half of the film, we follow Joe. Joe is kind of our main, character. He is told that he has these powers, and he starts to use them, and then he starts to fuck around with them, and he starts to show off to his sister and show off to his friends. Oh, look at me, I'm fucking psychic. And that, guys, is the entire first half of the fucking movie. Then our princess, who is supposed to be gathering all these psychic warriors, or fucking psionic warriors, whatever the fuck they want to call them, goes to New York to go and collect a new one. We suddenly find out that Luna is racist. Why? I don't know. It seriously, guys, was a plot point for all of 4 minutes. That Luna is racist, and she's not sure if she wants to save the warrior she went to go and pick up in New York because he's black. I swear to fuck, this was a plot point. It made no sense. And then when we all of a sudden find out that, as we have been following Joe as he's been dicking around with his powers, Luna has been collecting people from fucking all over the globe who are every color of the goddamn spectrum. It doesn't make sense that she all of a sudden is a little bit questionable about collecting this black kid whose psychic powers are basically a cross between Shadowcat and Nightcrawler, but not nearly as cool. It really made no sense at all. And by the way, yes, guys, we are randomly we randomly have 4 new psionic warriors just randomly dumped on us. And each of them are maybe mentioned by name once. And I couldn't tell you a single one of their fucking names. It seriously, guys, is hard enough for me to fucking remember that. For me to remember that the black kid's name is Sonny. And they say his name like maybe about 5 times in the 5 minutes when Luna was magically racist all of a sudden. Again, I am gonna harp on that because that plot point made no fucking sense, and they made it a major issue. It was really fucking stupid. So yeah, guys, we suddenly have a ton of new characters just dumped on. All of them in the comic probably had tons of build-up and backstory, telling us everything about them, giving us reasons to care. They lopped all of that off and just go, okay, so we have Luna, we have Vega, we have Joe, we have Sunny, and we also have these other 4. Fuck you, enjoy. Boom. And then, guys, the second half is just them basically just waiting around and it's just them waiting around for this big evil presence, Genma, to show up so that way they can kill it. That's it, guys. Like, this movie has pacing issues that really should not be here, considering the fact that they're trying to tell you 14 years worth of comic book in 2 hours. And oh my god, guys, it's like this movie just, I do not think that the writers knew what the fuck they were trying to do with this movie. I genuinely don't. There is no way in hell they sat down and said, okay, so we have this book. It took them 14 years to publish. We are going to try to tell all of it in 2 hours. Go. And genuinely thought that they were going to come up with anything even halfway good. This thing was a pain to sit through solely on writing because everything felt horribly rushed. And even though everything felt, rushed in terms of like character build-up and character depth, the story itself drags on for no fucking reason. So, we have pacing issues that are quite possibly some of the oddest I have seen. But what about acting? Oh, good fucking god, the acting. I have talked about bad fucking anime dubs before, and in fact, actually, I covered one recently. It was a movie called Dark Cat, which still to this day has the worst dub I have ever fucking heard. Behold a runner-up, man. This thing here had a horrible dub. First of all, guys, one of our main characters, Luna, who is a princess, they also, besides making her magically fucking racist for a couple of minutes, also made it a huge point early on to state that she is from Transylvania. You wouldn't fucking know that if you actually had just listened to her talk, because the actress doesn't put in any effort at a fucking accent. In fact, the only person who does is the person voicing the warrior from India, and he just basically puts on a really bad fucking accent, but goddammit, at least he was trying. And everybody else put in zero effort at anything close to accents or anything close to feeling. Guys, every single reading was dead. It was lifeless and it was pointless. All of them sounded as if they were talking like this, as if it was the very first time they had ever read what was on the page. None of them put in any kind of feeling. And it carries on like that. That lifeless, worthless shit for 2 fucking hours, guys. Nobody even tried for 2 goddamned hours. And you know what, guys? About halfway through, I was really tempted to just fucking kick it over to, fucking Japanese, and I went, no. I am not going to let this fucking dub beat me. And you know what, goddammit? I probably should have kicked it over to the original Japanese. Would probably have been less painful. Oh, dear fuck. Guys, the acting here is some of the worst I've seen. However, in terms of dubs, it's still nowhere near the worst. That honor still fucking goes to Dark Cat, and I don't think anything is ever going to take the crown from that. So, we have writing, which was awful. We had acting, which was shit. Shockingly, guys, those honestly are the only 2 genuine negatives I can really give you. Because everything else here Well, almost everything else here was fine, guys. The art style is great. The animation is beautiful, especially when we consider the fact that this thing was made in 1983. Animation here is fluid, it's awesome, and it looks great. At least in most cases, the animation looks really good. There actually are a couple of shots where it actually looks kind of sort of cheap and kind of sort of rushed. However, though, most of it is still really solid in terms of just animation. And blocking here is good. Like shots, backgrounds, everything here looks fucking good. All right, so now we have that. Music here is also pretty good, except for this closing credit song, which was just painful as shit to listen to, and I only listened to like the first 30 fucking seconds of it. But everything else was great, guys, in terms of music, and that's partially because at least early on in the film, we are treated to a lot of fantastic classical music, and it sounds awesome. And we have that, and then we also have the rest of the score, which also sounds really decent. Nothing here, though, is going to be, nothing here is going to be great and is going to be ultra memorable, except for the couple of pieces of classical music they had at the very start of the film. And the sound mix here is competent. I do have to comment on one sound, though, which really bothered me, because it just didn't seem to fit. At one point, Joe is saving animals in the fucking forest, and he has this fawn in his hands. The fawn looks at him and whimpers like a fucking dog. I swear to God, they seriously just put in the fucking sound of a whimpering dog and tried to pass off that as the sound of this fucking deer. I don't think that deer know how to whimper like, dogs, and that scene was kind of ruined by that one sound. And beyond that, though, guys, the sound mix here is fine. Oh, and also music also has a really bad habit of lingering slightly longer than the scenes it was supposed to go with. So we honestly will have music fucking playing in this scene, and we will then transition to a whole fucking new scene, and the music will linger for about 2 seconds and then just cut. It was really bad, and it only happened 4 times over the course of the film, and it did sound really cheap. However, it's serious though is kind of minor, especially when we put those sorts of problems up against the horrible writing and the lifeless acting. So it's really kind of pointless to even mention it. So yeah, guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Harmageddon? No. Fuck no. Hell no. This thing is awful. If you're really interested, you can probably find the comic. I'm not sure if the comic was ever, translated in, English. However, there are probably a bunch of people who have translated it and have put an English translation on the internet. Just go fucking hunting and you'll probably find them. But this thing, no. Do not waste your time. This thing, guys, is an absolute waste of time, and for me, it was a waste of $2. And god damn it, I kind of wish that I had that $2 fucking dollars, back. The good news is, I do have plenty of places here where I can take in this thing, and I might actually get back my $2. But otherwise, it was a massive waste, and I'm happy that I never have to worry about watching it again. Now, oh my god, this thing was so terrible. I'm just gonna go and read a fucking book. I'm gonna go read some Transmet or something. Why? Because that comic is actually good, and I have actually gotten into it a lot recently. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.